Hello, hello, good morning. Welcome to today's show. We are talking about something a little bit different. We're not talking so much about tactics and how to's and things like that, but we're talking about something really important in your journey as an entrepreneur. And this is hitting really close to home because I'm just coming off of my most recent launch. And as launches go, not everything went off without a hitch. I know, shocking, surprising, right? If you've ever done a launch of a product or service, you probably have been in the same boat. And so I wanted to kind of come on and talk to you about some different mindset shifts and some things that, I'm currently going through because it may be helpful for you as well. Now, if you're familiar with Brene Brown, you've probably heard her discussion about the arena. And if you haven't, I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But one thing that I wanted to really talk to you about when you're doing a launch is to really take a step back after the launch. And I'm going to be doing this too for probably the next couple of weeks and really evaluating, okay, what went well, what didn't go well, and just doing a debrief of everything that went down. Because when you do that, you have the opportunity to then look back and go, okay, so not everything was a complete failure because that's immediately where our mindset tends to go. But better, we can take away, here are some lessons that, we can then look at not as a failure, but as an opportunity to improve on for next time. And so, when we are diving into that debrief, it's important for us to have some time to decompress. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's why I don't want to talk about my launch too much today. But to decompress the emotional piece of it, because there's a lot of emotion that goes into launching a new product or another product or your same product, even. Um, and a lot of energy and a lot of excitement and stuff that needs to build. And so it can actually be kind of exhausting to put your products and services out there and to promote them and do all of those things. But the key is that you have to do it. You have to keep standing up and keep putting your stuff in front of people because otherwise you can't sell anything. And so I am lucky enough to have a cohort of other entrepreneurs. I don't really know how to refer to them, but they're kind of like my business besties. And, I can reach out to them and just say, okay, here's the real skinny. And I can really get into the nitty gritty with them and tell them about, disappointments and things like that. But not everything is going to go according to plan. Not everything is going to be perfect. And so I just really wanted to come on here and share a little bit about that experience in case you are running into that too, and whether you're selling a program that you're putting out there in an online capacity, or if you're even promoting your coaching services through sales calls. You do so many sales calls in a row. And I remember at one of my positions previous to having my own business, I was a sales rep for a copier company, and it sucked. Like, they wanted you to make like 30 calls a day because the numbers, it was a numbers game. You called as many people as possible so that you could get as many calls as possible so that you could get in front of as many people as possible. And then ultimately somebody would buy. And it was just a total numbers game. And it isn't that different when you're an entrepreneur. You still have to make the sales calls. The difference is that you have the opportunity to build the relationship beforehand. And so we talked about that recently through email and different things like that. But a lot of us get into this mindset that things should be perfect. We should have this perfect system, a perfect set of services, a perfect email list, and perfect ads, perfect social media posts, and all that stuff. And a lot of that comes from, we see from the outside in what is happening on other people's, say, social media feed. But the reality is we don't know what's going on with them, just like they don't know what's going on with us. And so to base your business on that perfectly posed Instagram post or perfectly posed LinkedIn post or whatever it might be is really not doing yourself any favors. And so I would say the number one thing to focus on as an entrepreneur and as a business owner is to, what is your goal? Why are you here? And who are you trying to help? And if it comes back to those things again and again, no matter what you encounter, so say it's supply issues or you're having you're not able to find the right employees to help you implement whatever it is you're trying to do, or you don't have ideas for content, or you don't have enough people in your pipeline, or you don't have enough people on your email list, or whatever it is, all of those things are really a symptom of what's going on in your mind. And they're just a symptom of you not getting to your goals yet. And so oftentimes when I think back, like right now, there's a lot of things going on in the supply arena. And I talk about the craft industry a lot just because it's a hobby for me. Um, and I know there are other industries that are impacted by this, but there's a lot of things that are out of our control in the world. And so, for example, if you're in the craft industry, you may be trying to get products or fill your products within your store or your space. But as a small business owner, you don't have the advantage as a lot of other big businesses to reach out to different suppliers or have a mass reach to get what you need to put in your store. And so the difference would be like between like a smaller mom and pop stamp company versus like Keebler, who can't get plastic for their crackers. Well, if Keebler's having a really hard time getting plastic sleeves for their crackers, then you know the stamp company is probably at the end of the list for the plastic manufacturing. And so they're really struggling to get products and services into their shop. And so whether you're a business owner that can't get supplies in, or you're a restaurant who can't get employees to to come in and work and wait on your customers, everybody seems to be struggling in some capacity right now, but we can't let that keep us from doing what we're here to do. And as entrepreneurs, I think we sometimes get disillusioned by what's out there online. We hear people saying, oh, yeah, if you just do this, this, and this, you'll be $1 million business owner. Or if you just do this, this, and this, you'll have customers flying in the door. And we forget that everything builds on itself. And we forget that not everything happens overnight. It would be the same thing as walking into the gym one day and you do one workout and you're like, oh, I'm going to go do a triathlon. You could do that, but you're really going to struggle. And as somebody that has done triathlons, I know how much work goes into preparing for a triathlon. And just because you've done one triathlon does not make you a triathlete. And so when we look at our business in that capacity and we think, oh, we're just going to show up one day and then we're going to have millions of customers, we're not putting in the time to get to where we want to go. And so then we can feel deflated. We can feel like we're not getting where we want to be. And we have this self-imposed timeline in our head of where we should be. That can really defeat us and make us feel like we're never going to be as successful as we want to in our own minds. But if instead we shift that perspective and we start to think about things in a way that empowers us to look at things that didn't go quite as we planned, as an opportunity to learn and to grow and, things we can do differently next time, then we have the chance to take those opportunities and turn them into lessons. And so that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today, is that, it can be really easy to want to give up and to just throw in the towel and go do whatever it is you were doing before you became an entrepreneur, or to just go have a pity party and watch I don't watch the Kardashians, but watch your favorite Netflix series and eat Cheetos all day. And I'm not saying you can't do that for a couple days. Absolutely. If you're having a rough time and you just need some time to decompress, go do that. But then it's time for you to get up, stand up, and get back in the arena, because what it comes down to is you're here for a reason. People need what you have to offer. And when you give up, those people can't get to where they're going because they need you to get there. And so Brene Brown, in her book, Daring Greatly, which is a little bit older now, but if you haven't read it, she has this quote in there, and I'm just going to read it to you. When we spend our lives waiting until we're perfect or bulletproof before we walk into the arena, we ultimately sacrifice relationships and opportunities that may not be recoverable. We squander our precious time and we turn our backs on our gifts, those unique contributions that only we can make. And so I want to encourage you, maybe even challenge you, to just keep standing up and stepping into the arena and building that business for whatever big why you've set for yourself. So maybe that's to create impact or to create a legacy or to have something here that inspires others to do their very best. Because even though things aren't always going to go as planned, there are opportunities there for us to get to the end game. So that's what I've got for you today. I will be heading back on next Wednesday. I go live every Wednesday to talk about marketing and mindset and a lot of different opportunities for those that are second act entrepreneurs, my people that have had lots of expertise and education in their field and are taking that to the entrepreneurial world. And it can be a little bit difficult to navigate. So hopefully this has inspired you today and encouraged you to keep going and to get yourself out there in what you do because the world needs you. So I will see you next week. In the meantime, take care, be well, and stay safe.